America is teaming up with Russia.
Damn.
Did you deactivate the alarm?
It doesn't have an alarm.
Loving your work, cowboy.
I notice you're very good with your hands.
Thank you.
I'll turn it on now.
The Man From U.N.C.L.E.
All right, welcome to a brand new episode of Miserable Movie Mafia. This time around, we've got
Fred.
And me, Matt. So what do we see this time?
We saw Man From U.N.C.L.E.
Man from Suit.
Because Straight Outta Compton was the other one that came out. Straight Outta Compton to me is a DVD rental.
Yeah, I think I'm probably going to do DVD with that one as well. Not because it would be a bad movie, I don't know.
Yeah, hip-hop, I'm not a major fan of hip-hop, so.
I kind of did the same thing with, like, the Fast and Furious movies. Like, I knew that it was going to be one of those movies that I don't want to be, like, I don't know, like, I think I would like it, but at the same time, I didn't want to put the money into it to take that gamble. Yeah. Be like, shit!
Yeah, plus that movie is like 3 hours long, apparently.
Yeah, I think so. But this movie felt like it was 10 hours long.
Yeah, wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. It wasn't good.
The biggest problem I had with it is, and you get this with every Guy Ritchie movie, there's a lot of, like, it's a pretty looking film. Mm-hmm. There's a lot going on, there's a lot of graphic styling and all this stuff, and, like, all the characters are, like, you know, they have some really good costumes and all that kind of stuff. But other than that, the characters that were there in the movie just felt like they were there going through the motions.
Yeah, it's...
Like, there wasn't any... If you're looking for, like, Oscar-winning, felt-driven acting, it's not here in this movie at all.
No, there's no feeling in the movie at all. But that's what you get. I mean, to be honest with you, he hired two people who are just pretty faces. There's no substance behind them.
Well, yeah, because the only... I know Cavill... Superman was in Superman, obviously, and before that, the only other movie I think he was in was Immortals.
Yeah, and he was on The Tudors.
Right. And in all of those, you're not...
So was the guy who played the Russian. He was on The Tudors, too. He played the
Lone Ranger. Yeah.
Lone Ranger, and he was also in that J. Edgar Hoover movie that Clint Eastwood did.
Right.
He played Leonardo DiCaprio's gay lover in that.
Right.
So,
and all the movies that we listed, you're not there to be a good actor, really. Yeah. Like Superman, you don't have to show emotion. You just have to float around, flex your muscles, and pick up shit and kill people.
Yeah. And
break necks.
Anyone who's seen The Lone Ranger can tell you there's absolutely no substance in that whatsoever. Which I actually watched this week. It was on TV. So,
you know, as much people talk shit about Johnny Depp, they're like, oh, you know, he's just doing another, he's just fucking, you know, Jack Sparrow again in this. It's like, well, he was the only one really trying in Lone Ranger.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like, if he wasn't there, you'd be asleep in like 15 minutes.
Yeah, and they also got on his case because they're like, well, he's not really Native American, so it's offensive.
No, fuck.
So
yeah, and Hugh Jackman's not really Canadian and he's playing fucking Wolverine, so. But, yeah, that was my major gripe with it. There really wasn't, I mean, like, it's such a weird gray area, because the acting was not bad, but the acting was also not very present. It was just like a weird, like, that's how I feel about this whole thing. And Fred and I discussed this even afterwards. We're just like, I really don't know how to feel, because the movie was well done, but it also wasn't a well done movie.
Yeah,
like, it wasn't acted well. It wasn't, you know,
it's just like,
Yeah, like, you go into it looking like, because it's a spy movie. So most people think when you're going into a spy movie, you're thinking you're either getting, like, action-y Mission Impossible stuff, or you're getting somewhat suave and action-y stuff like you get with 007 movies, like James Bond stuff.
No.
Which, and I'll say this right off the bat, the advertising campaign for this movie needs to stop, because you can't say, it's like, oh, it gives James Bond a run for its money. It's like, no. James Bond would fucking sissy slap this movie and then just stand there and look at it and just piss on it.
Yeah. The only exception maybe would be the Timothy Dalton version.
Yeah, well,
but every other,
I'm talking current James Bond movie.
Well, I'm talking
start throwing Dalton into this stuff.
All of them except for Dalton, Connery, who, in my opinion, is the best. But Connery, Roger Moore, Pierce Brosnan, Brosnan or whatever. However the hell you say his name.
Now,
Daniel Craig, all of them.
Yeah. It is filmed to be like back, I guess this was like 50s, 20s, like.
We know Kennedy's still alive. I think it's
early
60s.
Early 60s.
Yeah,
okay.
Sometime before November of 1963, sorry.
Right. Around the time the nuclear stuff was starting to surface.
1863 at my job, so.
Right. So, the main plot in this movie is that, well, and if any of you that listen ever saw the Man From U.N.C.L.E. TV show, you kind of get the idea of the plot there, and it's very cliche and cookie cutter, is that they're trying to get discs that have information on it as to how the Russians were building these warheads.
Which I love how the discs, they have computer discs that are small, whereas like in the 1960s, didn't computers take up like a whole warehouse?
Yeah.
It was massive, like...
And it's like they got it right to the point where it was like an actual like analog tape.
Yeah.
That was inside of it for the disc, but it also was like the size of a coffee coaster in the movie. And like back then it would have been almost on like a film reel.
Yeah.
But, so they're going after these discs to get the bomb to stop that from blowing up the world. Very cliche, like, find this, and save the girl, blah, blah, blah.
This confused me. Were they going after like a small Nazi, like, element that was going for the bomb, or what was going on? That I was confused.
I don't know,
as
because, the guy that was who you find out to then be the female that was leading the whole thing, which comes as no surprise. Like, if you go to see the movie, as soon as you see this person we're talking about, you're like, yeah, I could pick up that she's going to be a bad guy.
Yeah.
He was in the Nazi party, because they had that whole thing where he's explaining his background.
Yeah.
And they show, like, World War II, stock footage and then Hitler screaming. Yeah. It's just like, okay, I get it. You're a Nazi.
World War II stock footage.
It was. They're just like,
Hitler like pounding.
It's just like, it's just like.
But yeah, I didn't understand that. I understand they were making a nuclear warhead, but for who? Like they say like a small like group of like former Nazis, but they don't say for who. It's just like they're making a warhead just to make a warhead.
They kind of do not really, they don't really clue you in as to who they're making it for.
No.
And then the funny thing I thought was like, and I don't know my World War II history that much, or like around that time period of, Hitler's reign and everything, but I'm kind of confused as to where the Italians came into this.
Well, Mussolini and the Italians had an alliance with Hitler.
All right. That answers my question then. But, that's the other thing I love about this. When they go to Rome.
Out of control Italian.
Yeah. When they go to Rome, which then they also have to tell you is in Italy.
Yeah. It could be Rome, Ohio. Yeah. Or Rome, Georgia.
Rome, Ohio.
Rome, Georgia. So.
Which, I mean, I don't know. That might exist, but what the fuck? Why would you? So, yeah, when you're in Italy, like, every Italian guy has a mustache. Every one of them has a mustache. Every one of them has a tan, like they just live on the beach.
And they're all in, like flamboyant and
oh my god, to the max.
Yeah,
they're more flamboyant than Henry Cavill's eyebrows in this fucking movie,
which were going insane. And that's coming from someone with crazy eyebrows.
That's like I said. So. I think they gave him like. No, in the movie theater, I said $100 million every time he did it. I'll move it down to, they gave him like 10 grand every time he like furrowed his brow or like lifted one eyebrow and looked provocatively at the camera.
Yeah. And he can't put his arms by his side because he's got biceps the size of, truck tires. So, his arms like, just,
He did look very awkward.
Yeah.
Like they show him like doing stuff where he's like, he hooked up a zip line and he was going off the building holding like one girl and he's all like flipping around and shit. I'm like, no, he's not that flexible. And especially in that suit, he's not flipping around like that.
The suit, and plus like like his muscles are just getting too intense. He's getting too many of them.
Yeah.
Like he's like finding muscles doctors haven't even found yet and just, making them solid rock. And
if you're an entrepreneur of suits, or like this is a movie for you.
Yeah,
because even when he's infiltrating somewhere, he has to have some kind of suit on, and that and this will connect to another gripe I have about the movie, but yeah, he's always wearing a suit, and like that one where he was sneaking in at night to get in, I had to kind of laugh because he had to wear like the cliche black turtleneck sweater.
Oh yeah,
with like a suit jacket over that to like infiltrate into the secret underground nuclear lair.
It's well, here's how I would recommend this movie. If you're going to the movies, or you're taking a date or something to the movies, all right?
Right.
Mission Impossible sold out, okay?
Right.
And you're not in the mood to sit through Straight Outta Compton.
Right.
Then I would recommend Man From U.N.C.L.E. because everything else out besides
it's bad.
It's Fantastic Four. What are you going to do? And over the next couple of weeks,
and Vacation's still out.
Vacation is still out.
Yeah.
Trainwreck is still out, which is.
And the funny thing is, like, after this, the only other thing I'd recommend is maybe seeing the Minions movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's your top 4.
I guess if you're with a date, if you're with a couple, like, guy friends, I probably wouldn't recommend going to hang out in a Minions movie with kids. Might look weird, but.
Well, okay, and back to the one thing, that I said that hit me really bad. There's a scene toward the end and they build up to this for at least a good 5 solid minutes of the mission that they're going to do, like how they're laying it out to get into the island, to save the girl and everything. It's all done then in montage.
Mm-hmm.
That's just like split edgy camera things and like, almost like done in comic book panel motion styling of them infiltrating the base. And then it just stops. And then the movie picks up after that, and it's kind of like, well, that's what I wanted to fucking see.
That's the cool action stuff. That's what.
Yeah, that's what I came for, was that kind of stuff, not just watching Henry Cavill mug at the camera again.
Do you know who will love this movie?
Who?
Upper middle age to old people. Like my parents.
Yeah, probably.
My parents would love this movie. Like the type
of the same age group that like Dark Shadows, pretty much.
Well, like
when that came out.
Like my parents, like what they do, like at nighttime when they watch TV is like they watch like TNT, like The Closer. People who watch stuff
The
like
Closer.
People who watch it like The Closer.
I can see that.
Or what's the other one they love? Not CSI, NCIS.
NCIS.
They love NCIS, where it's like kind of bland, boring espionage.
If you like a lot of talking and not seeing anything happen, this will
like corny, like talking. They love that. They could sit and watch. Like my dad gets excited when there's an NCIS marathon on USA. So he will probably love Man From U.N.C.L.E. It's like they get pumped. Like, oh look, new episodes of The Closer on TNT, and they get excited for it. So those are the type of people that will like this movie.
Yeah, I mean. I kind of hate not liking it because at the same time it is smart in how they put it all together. Cause Cavill, he did okay, but I wouldn't put him in a movie where he's playing like the best in his class, like special agent guy. Yeah. Because you look at him and you're like, I don't really buy that from you. Like if you're going to go play somebody as a superhero, yeah, I can buy that from you. Looking at you as a character.
I just think he's Superman. I saw The Immortals, and The Immortals just kept rooting for Mickey Rourke to cut his head off and God. Put it on a stick.
Mickey Rourke. That fucking helmet he wore.
Yeah, he's just Superman. He shouldn't be doing anything else but Superman. I can't...
Well, and that goes back to, when we saw Vacation, and, Thor was in that, and the whole time you're seeing him, you're like, it's Thor. It's not this southern... cow herder.
And I could really care less if I ever see Arlie. What's his name? Arlie Hammer or Ernie Hammer? Or
yeah, I think. Yeah,
the guy who played the Lone Ranger.
Yeah,
who was in this. I could really care less if I ever saw him in a movie again. He's kind of being.
I mean, his Russian accent in this wasn't too bad, but it was also to the point where it's like, yeah, I know it's extremely fake.
Yeah,
because it's like, yeah, we're gonna do the Russian to English accent where it's just like they leave out words that they don't make a complete sentence with to make it sound more Russian,
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
yeah, it's, and as far as the smart goes, there's quite a few gaps in there. Like I said, the whole Nazi thing, I didn't understand if the bomb was being used by some bunch of Nazis who hid in Argentina.
Right.
They say that at one point.
I'll say it's smart to meet the genre that it was trying to get into.
Yeah.
The flashy, spy kind of need a story per se to like make the movie out of it. Like, I don't know, like I'm trying to rack my brain to find another like spy movie that this kind of fits in with, but I can't really come up with one. Because most of all the other ones I've seen, like, they get down to the point of what they're like, because the one thing this movie does is really drag out every one of its scenes. Because there was a part where I looked at Fred during it, and I'm like, weren't we looking for a bomb or something?
Yeah.
Why are we on a NASCAR racetrack right now? And
yeah, like, and I went and smoked a cigarette. I was getting there were certain points that were kind of dragging to the point where I was like,
well, and this is another good example of that. Like, what was the last movie you went and see? Oh, the Fantastic Four. Yeah. When you left and came back and nothing happened. Again. Yeah. He went, had a cigarette, came back, and he really didn't miss anything important. That's like maybe a 15-minute break, and he came back and like nothing important happened. Yeah.
It's, like I said, it's not bad. I think maybe we're saying it's not bad because we look at what we've reviewed. Fantastic Four, Vacation.
Yeah, after those two, anything would look good right now.
Plus, I've seen Pixels. We didn't review Pixels on here, but I had the misfortune of watching Pixels.
Right, yeah.
I've seen Trainwreck, which is just as bad as Pixels, in my opinion. All right.
I think I don't... And that's the funny thing, like, you look at a movie like Pixels that's bad, but stuff actually happens in it.
Well, that's debatable. Well,
I mean, at least, they say, like, aliens come down, and it's like, that happens. It takes this movie forever to get to its end goal,
Yeah. Well, I would definitely still put it above Pixels, Vacation.
Right.
Fantastic Four.
And the guy that played the Russian, I can't remember his name again.
Army Hammer or Arlie Hammer. It's like
Arm and Hammer.
Arm and Hammer. Let's call him Arm and Hammer.
Arm and Hammer and Cavill in this one, like, they didn't really mesh together well as playing like a group. And I know they're supposed to hate each other, but at the same time, like, you actually, like, them together on screen, it didn't work. No. It didn't work well at all. Because it was like, Cavill's like, I'm going to do my own thing where I just have my fucking chin up in the air at everything, and I'm, smirking at the camera, and I'm just like, I'm the hot guy, basically. Yeah. And then you got Arm and Hammer.
Arm and Hammer.
who looked like he actually was trying to do his role the best he could. I will give him that. He fucked up the Lone Ranger, but in this he was like, I'm going to try being an actual Russian spy. Because out of the two of them, he's the one that I bought a little bit more. Yeah. You know what? And the funny thing is, the one who acted the best in this whole damn thing, besides Hugh Grant, was
poor Hugh Grant.
Who was the girl who was in Ex Machina.
Oh yeah, yeah.
She did a good job. I'll give her that. Given what she was, handed to work with.
I think the Nazi torture
the
guy
execution, the Nazi torture guy.
Yeah, I think he was the best.
The best thing I loved was the still pictures they took of him growing up. And it was just like he got to the point where he was the doctor trying to, like, they just show like this picture, like this guy on a gurney, and he's just like the doctor with the fucking cliche, like, it was giant doctor mirror strapped to his head.
It was like Jewish people he was experimenting on. Yeah. There were Nazi SS agents behind him, and he's smiling with a doctor.
Yeah, he's just smiling like vacation photos.
So scared. The Jewish person looked so scared, he's like giving a thumbs.
He's just like smiling, giving a thumbs up. He's like, this is gonna look so good in my photo book.
They were all old black and white vacation photos with scared internment camp members.
Yeah, it's just so weird. I also love that, like, obviously they turn the tables on the guy who's torturing Cavill, and his character's name was Solo in this, which I thought was funny because he wasn't Solo at all during the entire film. Yeah. But yeah, they get him out, and then they put the torture guy in the chair, and they're like, let's see how you like it. He's like, I'll tell you whatever you want. I don't have a problem with snitching. It's like, right, what? The guy who just spent 15 minutes telling me how hardcore he was in torturing people. Yeah. He's then just like, I'll tell you whatever you want. Yeah. Which led to the one funny scene was them going outside, debating on what they're going to do to the guy. and the electrocution chair malfunctions, and he catches on fire. And then they just turn around and like, I left my suit jacket in there.
Yeah. I don't know. It's, like I said, it was kind of like, my reaction to the movie is kind of like
I could
an
take
episode
it,
of NCIS.
Yeah, I could take it or leave it.
Yeah.
Basically. I wasn't, I don't feel like I'm any better a person now having seen it.
Yeah.
And I don't feel, I would not go back in to see it again with a friend who'd want to see it.
Recently retired people will like this. Like my dad, whose highlight in his day is getting the mail and dinner time.
Yeah. There you go.
So I'm sure he would like this. Getting the mail, dinner time, and Bill O'Reilly at 8:00. My dad is like, those are the highlights.
Those are the highlights
on my dad's day.
Well, okay. Well, we're going to end this with that then. We'll give our scores, and then we're going to go on to we're going to talk about some of the movies that are coming out in the future.
Yeah.
So, for me, I'd probably give it a 4 out of 10.
I think I'm going to go the same.
Yeah. It's not quite good enough to be middle of the road, and it's not quite bad enough to be the worst thing I've seen so far this summer.
Yeah. It's definitely not the worst thing, but this summer's been, they've had some rough ones this summer. This
summer's probably, if I was to grade this summer so far, this is probably one of the worst summers I've had at the movie theaters.
Yeah.
Since, like, that dark ages in the 90s where it was, like, the Lost World sequels and Batman Forevers and shit
summer
like that.
Of 97. The summer of 97 may be the worst in the history of
that is one of the most infamous bad summers of the theater. But this one, to me, is getting pretty damn close. Because even your tentpole movies, where you had your Avengers and stuff, they were still like, it was good, but eh.
And we didn't have any people spotting because we went
real early today.
10:00 on a Sunday morning.
We were the only ones in the theater. So, I mean, I'm sure Frank loved us for that because we went and saw the IMAX one because that was the earliest, and we paid basically the price of 2 seats for one person.
And
so, yeah.
We had the whole theater to ourselves, though, which
was good because there were points where I cried out in vain.
Yeah, we were.
So I could scream and not be yelled at.
We were screaming "fuck" and things of that nature. But I had my people watching out of the way earlier this week. Went with a woman inside the Gettysburg Walmart on a rascal who was insanely livid because they replaced double stuffed Oreos with ultra thin Oreos.
God damn it!
And I had to stand behind her, picking up coffee K-cups while she
hear this the whole time.
She was screaming at some guy that skinny, like, Gettysburg native, like, Cletus the slack-jawed yokel was behind the register. Like, ma'am, I don't know why we don't have double-stuffed Oreos. She's like, they're a great product! Who doesn't want double-stuffed Oreos anymore?
Go somewhere that has them, then.
I guess
with Giants and stuff, you can't get a rascal to ride around on.
Probably not the one in Gettysburg. In Gettysburg, you have 2 options to get your groceries: Walmart and Giant. That's it. It's not like. It's not like
I didn't know. Well, let's move on to movies that are coming out in the coming weeks.
Yes. Now, I guess what we're going to do is, because next Friday we're doing Hitman Agent 47.
Yeah, we'll do Hitman, yeah.
And then we're going to take 2 or 3 weeks off because there's nothing coming out.
Well, maybe 1 week for sure.
Yeah.
We could catch something that we haven't seen that we wanted to in some of those other weeks.
Yeah. Right now, I'm looking at the schedule here. Next week, Matt's going on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Or the week of the 22nd through the 29th.
Yeah, the 22nd to the 29th, I will be on vacation.
Then we have Transporter 3. Transporter 3 comes out the 4th. The 11th is, the 11th looks like it's The Visit, which is by M. Night Shyamalan.
We might just have to see that for how bad it's probably going to be.
So why don't we come back on the 11th then with what I was going to consider like a new season.
You don't want to try and catch Southpaw like at the first week of September?
I will gladly catch Southpaw if you want to catch Southpaw.
Let's do Southpaw next.
All right.
After my vacation. So what are we doing next week, though? Oh, Agent 47. That's right.
Yeah, Hitman.
So next week will be Agent 47, then a vacation, and then after that, we're going to come back and watch Southpaw.
Yeah. Then we get to sit through M. Night Shyamalan's Thriller. The Visit, which is M. Night Shyamalan's take on two crazy grandparents who try to kill their grandkids.
Awesome. I love it.
So that'll be wonderful.
I can't wait.
His last movie was actually After Earth. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
After Earth, starring Jaden Smith and Will Smith. One of the worst movies I've ever seen.
I forgot that he directed that one.
Yep. Then we come back for what's going to be my Star Wars of the year. The Black Mass.
Black Mass?
Yeah,
okay.
Black Mass.
So this is going to outdo Star Wars to you?
To me, Black Mass, yeah.
Okay.
The book is amazing. It's just,
what's it about?
Whitey Bulger, the Irish mob in Boston.
All right, okay.
That one's going to be like my Star Wars.
Okay.
Even though I'm still pumped with Star Wars.
Yeah, me too.
And then we have the week of the 25th, where our options are Hotel Transylvania 2 or The Intern.
All right, Hotel Transylvania 2 it is.
Okay. Yeah. Robert De Niro has not been on point as of late.
Not at all.
Then we have October 2nd, which I'm assuming we'll do The Martian.
Probably, yeah.
Which is Matt Damon being stuck on Mars.
It sounds like it could be good.
Yeah, Ridley Scott does it.
I mean, yeah, Ridley Scott knows space. So.
The week of the 9th, October 9th, will be Pan, starring Hugh Jackman.
Okay. I'll have to see if my wife's off. She'll probably want to see that.
Yeah,
when does my anticipated movie come out? When does Crimson Peaks come out?
That's October 16th.
I cannot wait.
Some
Del Toro.
We will be passing over Goosebumps, starring Jack Black.
Yes, we will.
And Bridge of Spies, starring Tom Hanks. Which
I do love Tom Hanks, but I don't know about this one.
Yeah, that one looked kind of...
Yeah.
Why are they doing all these movies about communist Russia? They had this one, communist Russia, they show the Berlin Wall and stuff. I just saw one with starring Tom Hardy that came out in April called Child 44, which is slow as all can be. And now this one...
I mean, they're trying to appease shirtless Putin.
Yeah.
They don't want him riding in here on a bear with a nuclear missile strapped to his back.
Then we have the one I'm looking forward to. I can't wait for this. October 23rd. The Last Witch Hunter, starring Vin Diesel.
Oh, God, we're really going to see that?
Yeah.
All right.
Because that's the only thing coming out that day. You have Rock the
Yeah, that's true.
Cash Bus, starring Bill Murray, which is...
Oh, that's another one of the... I can't remember the director. I think it's the same guy who did the Royal Tannenbaums and all that stuff. Yeah.
So
I can't remember his name.
I would not be able to sit through that.
No, neither will I.
I would need...
I know there's there's a good cult following for that director's kind of movies, but it is not my type of humor.
No.
It just doesn't hit me.
Oh no, hipsters love it. Like hipsters and, with their turtlenecks and...
their turtlenecks?
Turtlenecks and scarves and...
Right.
And Crocs. They love that stuff.
So I guess that's for us out to October at least then.
Yeah. And then of course you got Star Wars. We're going to be seeing James Bond.
Oh yeah, that's a given. I don't think we're going to go Christmas Day though.
No,
I'm kind of a family person. I want to be around family on Christmas. I don't need to be in the movie theater.
Well, it opens like 2 weeks before Christmas. Well, a week before Christmas.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah, December 18th. Christmas you have some Robert De Niro movies and Jennifer Lawrence.
Which I am not going to the theater
Yeah, I'm
for.
not going on Christmas.
Well, we'll see if we hit it before Christmas. We'll see. Because I can guarantee you school is going to be out and it is going to be a madhouse in the theaters.
School doesn't let out until the 22nd or 23rd.
I see. Well, maybe we go an early winter morning.
Yeah,
when the sun's not out.
And the other one is... and I want to see In the Heart of the Sea, which is going to be the true story.
Yeah, I saw the poster for that.
It's the true story of Moby Dick. That one comes out December 11th.
I would be all over that. I love the book Moby Dick. I love that novel.
Does star Chris Hemsworth, though, but...
who fucking cares? Yeah. As long as he's not, flashing his dick, I won't have a problem with it.
Yeah, that's...
I highly doubt.
Well, who knows? In this day and age, I could probably have him the first 5 minutes of the movie. Just...
If they have if they have the captain flash his dick in the first couple minutes of this movie, I'm walking out. Because I love that book so much, you're not fucking ruining it by doing something like that. I'm sorry.
And this is the true story. This is what the guy who wrote Moby Dick.
This is Herman Melville's real.
This is the story he heard that he based Moby Dick off
I see. Okay.
So there's not going to be like a Captain Ahab per se, but it's going to be someone, I'm assuming someone similar to Captain Ahab who is refusing.
As long as there's a boat trying to catch the biggest whale in the fucking ocean, I will be happy.
Yeah, that's what they're going with. Of course, you have the new James Bond, and I guess we'll have to see Hunger Games, which is... I'm not going on Thanksgiving either to see Hunger Games.
You know, and if we lose some listeners over this, I'm sorry, but I saw the first Hunger Games, and I had one of those ticks in my brain just explode. Because, like, I'm watching it, I see how stylized they do everything, like, the rich people are, like, overly fucking posh.
Yeah.
And all this stuff, and I'm like, look, I get it. I get what you're trying to say. I understand your lingo, I understand the undertone that you're trying to put out there. It's like, this is how rich people see the 1%, the 1% see the 99, and
Yeah.
Like, I get it. I really get it, but you're going way overboard with your message. It's to the point where it's not even hidden anymore.
Like it was secretly written by Bernie Sanders. Like this.
Yeah, and I had the misfortune of seeing the last one that they did, which I was like, so wait a minute. I thought this girl was supposed to be the one that changes everything, and yet she did the least amount of anything out of all the members in the last movie.
Mm-hmm.
She just stood around like saying, I don't know if I can be the one that helps. While all the other people are out like destroying shit and dying in the process because you're having doubts.
I don't know if I buy Jennifer Lawrence.
No, I don't, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, if you wanted a stronger female character, I don't buy her as the one that's leading a rebellion.
I don't really like her as Mystique. I was actually a fan of the first Hunger Games, but now that they're more and more they're coming out.
Yeah. Well, I didn't mind her as Mystique as much. But, she doesn't really match, I can't remember who, the actress that played Mystique.
Rebecca Romijn.
Yes, thank you. She doesn't really match the way she played it, though.
Yeah. Rebecca Romijn, whoever she's married to this week, is her last name. It was Rebecca Romijn Stamos. Rebecca Romijn
Stallone.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't... I'm not a fan of I don't know, the X-Men movies.
I know.
They could be
Not
so
a lot of
better.
people are. I mean, I didn't have a problem with Days of Futures Past as much, except for all of the ridiculous plot holes because of the time transferring bullshit.
And if we're losing listeners because you said you didn't like the Hunger Games.
Okay, I thought we're gonna lose listeners because
we've done far worse.
Yeah, we have. I'll say you've said far worse than I have, probably. So
yes, I'm looking forward. I'd probably say the top three I'm looking forward to is Black Mass, In the Heart of the Sea, and of course Star Wars.
Yeah.
Now, unless they do something like they did with the episodes 1 through 3, which I'm hoping they don't.
Right.
Even though I saw pictures of a Jar Jar Binks toy released.
Fuck.
Which I don't think they can't put putting him in.
Well, he serves no point in continuity anymore.
Yeah, he's got to be dead, right?
He should be.
Hopefully.
I mean, how many years passed between, like, where Vader where Anakin became Vader and they actually completed building the Death Star?
He's got to be. Well, he could be.
And that's just for that.
What if Gungans live like 300 years?
God damn it. This would be the best Star Wars in my mind if they open it up and Jar Jar Binks is in the fucking deserts of Tatooine and the Jawas spear him and kill him. And then take him back to like their roaming fucking fortress and make a robot out of him, and all he's designed to do is to give them hand jobs. Best Star Wars movie ever if they do that.
I would just, I think they should just have him being raped by a Rancor in the desert, and that's just in the backdrop.
It's a bit harsh. I think what I said's a little easier. I will still give it best Star Wars if anything bad happens to him. Best Star Wars movie ever. So I guess that's going to wrap up the episode then.
That would I wanted to.
Oh, you got one more thing?
Yeah, okay. I wanted to ask you one final. Did you see on the subject of Star Wars, Rogue One, that they released?
Like
the spin-off that they released.
No,
I
didn't get to see that. No.
Rogue One is going to be the new Star Wars movie. Comes out in 2016.
Oh, cool.
And then are not going to be doing
What, like summer of 2016?
I
or
think
like
it's
late
Christmas.
Oh, another Christmas release.
What they do is they do episode 7, Christmas of this year, 15. Spin-off movie, Christmas of 16, episode 8.
So they're kind of following the tracks of how Marvel's doing.
Yeah, they're doing.
Here's your big event movie, then here's your smaller ones, and then here's your other big event.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, I'm all for it. I fucking love Star Wars.
Yeah.
I love the 3 original. Let me put it that way. I love the 3 original Star Wars, not the prequels. I refuse to call them the first 3. Because in my mind, they were prequels that asshole decided, he was like, oh, I already had this planned out, but I waited 20 plus years to do it.
He should have stayed away from it and just allowed. By the time episode 1 came out, Phantom Menace, they already had a massive expanded universe going.
Yeah.
That was excellent. They should have allowed one of those writers to do.
I would have rather them done a Shadow of the Empire movie.
I would have loved it too, but apparently, and that book is fantastic.
Oh, it's a great book. The game was fucking fantastic too.
And it doesn't exist anymore in Star Wars canon.
No, it's gone. Which kind of pisses me off, but oh well.
Better than Shadow of the Empire was Heir to the Empire, which was that Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all gone. So
yeah, that's a kind of a middle finger to all you art, like the writers that spent their time to write these awesome novels,
or the people who spent their hard-earned money, like myself, to purchase hundreds of Star Wars books, and
exactly.
Now I can just use them as toilet paper.
At least $20 a pop.
Yeah, now I can just use them as toilet
paper. Nah, you don't have to use them as toilet paper. You can still go back and reread them for what they are.
Well,
just because they're never going to get made into a movie doesn't mean you have to fucking shit on them.
They started re-releasing new books that they consider canon now in the expanded universe. And I read Tarkin, which is supposed to be the backstory to Grand Moff Tarkin, the guy.
Right.
On the Death Star. And it was terrible.
No.
It was fucking boring.
That's sad. Well, hopefully that doesn't get put into a movie.
Well, you never know.
And if it does, I hope so. I hope whoever's directing that, because I guess the guy who's I'm really having a hard time with names today. The director that's doing this Star Wars that's coming out this Christmas.
J.J.
Abrams.
Yeah.
He's not doing the next one.
No.
So that's the other thing that scares me, because if he does well for the first one and then it's just open, the hat's in the ring for whoever wants to do the next one.
Well, I think the next one's the guy who did Jurassic World.
Okay, that could be good then.
Yeah.
I know a lot
or he's doing 9. I'm not sure. One of them.
Which is the funny thing I'm going to bring up here real quick is that I've noticed after Jurassic World's come out and it smashed a lot of records, now this is another one of those movies that the internet has now gotten to the point where they're like, well, let's just start hating on it. Because that's the cool thing to do now.
Yeah.
Like, it succeeded, so it's just like, oh, it was so boring.
Hipsters.
Nothing cool happened. I don't get it. And it's like, it's a movie about a park filled with dinosaurs that goes wrong.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to get anything. It's like, yeah, you could put the whole underlining theme of like, oh, mankind's not supposed to dabble with stuff like this. It's like, okay, fine. It's there, though. The message is there, but it's just about fucking things going wrong and dinosaurs running amok and killing people.
Yeah, but I'm sure they loved Trainwreck, which is 2.5 hours of Amy Schumer talking about how many fingers guys can fit inside her. That's wonderful. That's a wonderful movie. They all rant and rave about that one. That movie stunk. Yeah, that's about it.
No thanks.
That's 2.5 hours of those type of jokes.
Okay, well, I guess that ends this episode.
Yeah, that does.
All right, everybody. Well, I'd like to remind you, you can find all of our past episodes on iTunes. You can also find them on grindcast.libsyn.com. You can find Fred's written reviews of all of the movies we've seen at miserablemoviemafia.wordpress.com.
Mm-hmm.
I also put up written reviews when I have the time to write them at grindedword.com. And you can find us on our YouTube channel at The Grinded Word. So that's it for this week, guys. Until next week, have a good week. What, you got something to say?
No, okay. Have yourself a great weekend. We'll be back next Friday with Hitman Agent 47.
Awesome. Until next time, as always, thanks for watching. We'll catch you later. Or listening. Sorry. Hey, it's just like Grindcast. We fuck up all the endings. See you later, guys.